Welcome to HBCU Her Voice, a place where we celebrate the powerful voices and stories of remarkable women from historically Black colleges and universities. I'm your host, Shanadra Washington, a proud HBCU graduate myself. I'm thrilled to bring you this platform dedicated to amplifying the voice of our community. We dive into inspiring stories of resilience, success, and the incredible impact these women are making in the world. From trailblazing entrepreneurs to innovative leaders, we bring you the stories that matter, showcasing how HBCU experiences shape paths and fuel passions. We'll explore challenges, victories, and wisdom. Whether you're an HBCU alum, a student, faculty member, supporter, or simply someone who believes in the power of diverse voices, we are so glad to have you. So listen up as we share insights, celebrate achievements, and uplift our community. Together, we can inspire the next generation of leaders and ensure our voices are heard loud and clear. A grand welcome to HBCU Her Voice. And just like that, I'm back like I never left. I'm the fabulous host of HBCU Her Voice podcast. I'm your fabulous host, Shanadra Washington, streaming in the beautiful city of Houston, Texas. You know how we do around here. We bring the most amazing and fabulous guests. And it's always a little extra when I know the guests, like I know them in real life. So excited and proud of this young lady, ready for her to come to the stage and tell us her name, where she's streaming from, which HBCU she's repping. And I can already tell y'all she's in this H-Town area, so you know how we bring it. Let's bring our beautiful guest to the stage, and here she is.
Hello, everyone. My name is MGill, and I am streaming from Houston, Texas, the Houston, Texas. The HBCU that I'm representing today is Texas Southern University in Houston, Texas.
Texas Southern University. She's repping, y'all. She's repping our hometown HBCU. What a joy and privilege. Let's just start right there, Ella. Was TSU your dream school? How did you fall into TSU, and tell us about that TSU Tiger experience?
Absolutely. So I graduated from high school when I was 16 years old. So the choices that I chose when I was deciding on college, I knew I wanted to be somewhere close to home because I was very young. And so I didn't apply to many schools, actually. I applied to Texas Southern, and I applied to Prairie View, and I applied to Sam Houston. And I was accepted to all the schools because all these schools were in the area. But something about TSU, it resonated well with me. I did visit the campus, and I just fell in love with it. I fell in love with the experience, seeing that it was like a community. Everybody was looking out for each other. Even on my very first day visiting the campus, me and my mom, we were going to look for campus housing. And one of the ladies in the housing department, we were looking at the housing, and we was trying to get prices and everything. And she had shared with us that if you were a part of the honors college, that you could get your housing for free. And so that little small inkling of, sharing, it really changed my life because I was able to get a full ride scholarship just off her sharing that story with me, because I did research about the honors college, and not only did they pay for housing, but they also paid for my tuition and also books. So at Texas Southern University, I didn't have to pay for anything for school. And I just found out all of that information off my first visit to the school with me and my mom.
Ella, I love it, okay? Because that kicks off those gems and why these conversations are so important, because it makes me think about, I went to Houston Tilson in Austin, Texas. That's my alma mater, okay? So when I first went there, I did have some form of scholarship. I did not have a full ride when I touched down on campus. I specifically remember me going by the financial aid office nearly every day. I was persistent even back then. I said, what y'all got for me? Y'all got some money? But
Please.
Yes. Somebody finally said, Shanadra, we have something for you. And I ended up ending my 4-year ride not paying a dime out of pocket.
Oh, man.
You know what I'm saying?
So, God is good.
And it's not only this piece that you guys get in there, but knowing the resources, so that you're not coming out with a ton of debt, and you are using your community and listening in for ways that you can get through this college experience, baby, and keeping some little change in your pocket, okay?
Yes, so scholarships definitely are life-changing. Yes.
Absolutely. And you know what? Ella's a smart girl. She said she graduated at 16 years old, an honor student. And I really sense that about her spirit because she's one of those people that's wise beyond her years, just has a very mature presence. And that's one of the reasons I said, Ella, okay, come do this podcast so that you can be the shining example for women in your age group that are really, struggling to figure out the what's next. So matriculating through TSU seems like a good experience. What was kind of that next for Ella right after TSU? Did you automatically go into this world of entrepreneurship, which I'm going to let Ella tell her story in that space, but what was the idea after you left after graduation?
Okay, great. So after I left Texas Southern, I was, I would say starting at Texas Southern, I went to school. I really wasn't very sure about what I wanted to do with my career path. I knew I was, a pretty smart girl. And my mom, she was in the health field. So she kind of encouraged me to take the health field route. And so I signed up for biology. That was my major, biology, with a minor of chemistry, in hopes to become a pharmacist. Well, when I was, in the pharmacy program, the pre-pharmacy program, I'll say, it wasn't very interesting to me. It didn't appeal to my personality or anything like that. So I, just kind of transition just to finish out my biology degree. Because one thing about scholarship, you got a limited time. You can't play around. So I was like, well, let me just get a degree. And then with this degree, I know I can use it I can either go back to medical school, I can go to optometry school, which is one of my paths that I thought I wanted to do, becoming an eye doctor or be a nurse or something. Well, when I, graduated from college, I was realizing that I wasn't really excited to go back to school, I would say. I wasn't really excited to go back to school. I was looking to start making money because, that's the whole point of college. I would say, to establish yourself, establish your career. And I was, ready to start doing that. So what I decided to do was just become a teacher, because I knew me becoming a teacher, I was going to make some guaranteed money quick. And, I could just use the degree that I already had. I didn't want to have to go back to school and get a degree. Later on in life, I do have my master's in counseling, when I took the education track. But I did become a teacher. And from being a teacher, I taught for about 4 years. And then I transitioned to become a school counselor, which was a great career path. And I did that for about 4 years as well. And while I was a school counselor, I started to, refuel my passion for life, I would say, because at the time I did enjoy being a school counselor, but I would say it was pretty repetitive and boring. And I was looking for a hobby, looking for something exciting and interesting. And that's how my business kind of came about. I was starting to, get into the beauty space and be, watching videos and, just excited about entrepreneurship because, it's something new every day. It's exciting. You make people feel good. You make yourself feel good. And so that's kind of how I transition into becoming an entrepreneur in full time, I would say, is just looking for a passion, looking for something to do other than just go to work and go home. So I started my business in 2019. My business kind of started as a side hustle. I was just doing it on the side, just doing it after work. And as an educator, I was working as a school counselor at the time. You have a lot of time off. So you have your summers off, you have your Christmas breaks, you have your your fall breaks, you also have your spring breaks. So you have, several times where you have, idle time. And so during that time, I would use it to just do my craft, do my business. I do have a custom wig business in which I make wigs on the sewing machine. So it's kind of not only is it a beauty business, it's also like a craft because it's something that I'm actually creating with my hands from scratch. Like I'm taking wefts, taking tracks, and then I'm putting it on the cap with the sewing machine and putting them all together and making a beautiful unit like the one I have on today. And so yeah, it's it was kind of like something that I was very interested in, just to have a hobby, and then it transitioned into becoming like my full-time career.
Oh my gosh, I love it. And Ella, guess what? I was a biology major and chemistry minor.
Really? What you did with that biology degree? Did you land in the teacher's face? Because what do you do with them?
Listen, baby, when you said that, girl, I was back here cracking up. I said, no, she didn't come. I said, no, she didn't come through talking about she was a biology
I
major.
don't know. I feel like they
Me
just really push,
too.
health degrees, and I'm like, okay, you smart. You like, all right, it sounds like the thing to do, but I don't know. If I could go back, I definitely would not be a biology major.
And this is why I like to have these conversations, because I say it's very much, as this is HBCU, that line under her voice is really what this is about. Because I too did the same thing. I was a science and math kid my entire life. Like, was that really, a passion, or was it more of an ability? And
Right,
because
what you're good at. Yes, yes.
because when you have that mindset to just do, I mean, you're gonna figure it out anyway. They can probably put you anywhere. You just have the intellect to kind of go and do it. But then, we never have that talk about passion. At least I wasn't having it when I was a young girl. So to answer your question, Ella, your girl ain't done nothing with that.
What field did you end up going to after which biology? I mean, after you graduated from
I
college.
did a whole nothing related. I had a 13-year financial services career after.
Okay.
What happened was I was applying to medical schools and I didn't get into any. I got into one out of state and I was so sheltered. I want to move and this and that. And I really wasn't for sure that's what I wanted to do. So all these different things. So life started happening. And just like you,
yeah,
I gotta make some money.
I need money. I need some money.
Yeah, I can't be out here just, doing nothing. So I went to the financial services career because, like you and I know, when you are able to get things done, I had a very fast-paced career. I had like 10 roles in 13 years. Every year and a half, I got a promotion. I did that at one company, then did it again at another company. And that was my 13-year career. And we did a lot of different things in that time and space. But what I like about you is that, you said, and this is what let me say this, okay? Because there'd be so many teachers, Ella. I be having so many teachers come up on me talking about they want to start this, they want to start that. But I want y'all to hear what Ella said. Ella said that you guys have a lot of idle time. When you have that summer break, you have that Christmas break. Ella did something. So when y'all come talking to me about, what to start, and I want to start a YouTube channel, I said, well, baby, do it. I said, I was never afforded an opportunity in financial services to have. I mean, I literally had banks of vacation time that I never took because I was working 60-hour weeks. I didn't have no idle time like that. So the fact that you reinvested it, I hope that every teacher that's watching this, that I'm gonna refer y'all to Ella's episode.
Yes, please. I definitely feel like that's the answer.
I'm going to refer them to your episode because I have an enormous amount of teachers that I meet in spaces. I can be out at a party or something with family members and stuff, and they'll bring and it's a teacher there. And they have all these questions. And I'm like, I wish I did get a little 2 months off, a little 2 weeks up, just idle time. So thank you for sharing that, Ella. I wanted to make sure I highlight that because that to me was their biology and then that idle time. Those were the highlights of that segment. So thank you, Ella. Now we got to talk about business space because you do this custom. Her hair always is laid, y'all. It's not just for the podcast. If you see her out in the real world, it's gonna look like this. So let me say that. The other part of it is that transition into entrepreneurship. Tell me about the biggest difference. Because I know for me, it was like in corporate, they were just kind of like playing my time. It's like, okay, you got to do this at 9, you got to do this at 10:30. So me rearranging time was the biggest for me. Talk about that biggest kind of change, if you will, from transitioning from being a teacher counselor to being a full-time entrepreneur.
Absolutely. So I knew I was ready to transition into becoming a full-time entrepreneur when my workload from my side hustle, for my custom wigs, for my clients, it started to oversee the time that I had, period. So, customers would call me, they would text me, and I wouldn't be available. I would be at work. So I kind of knew like, okay, the demand is getting there, I'm, and I'm very organized when it comes to like, making big decisions. So I had mapped out a plan, like, how many wigs I need to sell, how many classes I need to teach, because I do teach wig making classes as well. How many, bundles I need to sell, how many products I need to sell. Like I had like an idea of what I needed to do so that I can transition. And so I, kind of planned out 3 months before I was ready to quit. And what I did, as an educator, you have to sign your contract before you can proceed to the next year. So when I was kind of like, decided that I was ready to head out, I did not sign my contract. So my contract you have to normally sign it around May. So I did, talk to my principal at the time, just communicate with her what my plans were, that I was ready to, step out on faith and, just go in with my business. And she was super supportive, and that really did help. My family was super supportive. My husband was super supportive, and that really kind of helped. I mean, everybody had their fears, but I told myself that I could do it for 1 year. I'm like, if it doesn't work, I can go back to work. I still have the degrees. I still have, the masters. I still have all my certifications. So if it doesn't go work, like I could just go back to work. I can go back to work anytime. So I'm like, let me just see. And at the time, I think I was 29. And I was like, I'm gonna do it. Like I want to do it before I turn 30. No, I was 28. So I was like, I'm gonna do it before I turn 30. And so I turned 29 that summer, and I was like, let me just go ahead and do it. So I transitioned into a full-time entrepreneur. And at this time, I have been a full-time entrepreneur for 3 years. But I would say it has its beauties and it has its disadvantages with everything else. It's everything has, ups and downs, but literally this was the best decision I feel like I ever made for myself in my 20s, really because I feel like becoming an entrepreneur has shown me a different side of myself, not just like financially, but also like spiritually, emotionally. Like you have to be really, tapped in with your faith and with all of that, with your inner self, with your personal development, all of that, becoming an entrepreneur, because it takes a lot of discipline. And I would say that's like something that I really have fully understood, that becoming an entrepreneur takes a lot of discipline, because when you're working for someone, they kind of oversee, even though some bosses don't micromanage, but they kind of oversee the vision. They tell you like what needs to be done, how it needs to be done. Of course, people give you your own creative freedom, but when you're an entrepreneur, you have to have your own vision. You have to have your own ideas, and nobody is like telling you, "Hey, Ella, get up." "Hey, Shanae, get up. It's time for you to do what you got to do." You are the one telling you that. So I feel like that's something that I have really learned, and really trying to master as an entrepreneur, is being super disciplined and dedicated. Because this is what I decided that I want to do for myself and for my life and for my family and for my legacy. So I have to, really put my foot down and really stay disciplined and stay on top of everything. But, it is a blessing. And another thing that I could say that I love love about being an entrepreneur is that you have creative freedom. And I feel like in the workplace, that's something I feel like I kind of struggle with a little bit, because I'm a creative person. So I just want to do, create. And I want to have my own kind of vision. And when you're working for, a company, you have to follow their vision and their path. And sometimes it aligns with what you want to do, but sometimes it don't. And then you kind of like, especially like as a teacher, you have your own idea of how you want to run your classroom, how you want to teach your students, how you want to, present the information. And then somebody can come along and tell you, no, like that's not how we finna do it, but when you have your own business, you have your own idea, and nobody's coming to tell you, no, you can't do it like that. You have your own creative freedom. So that's one of the beauties of being an entrepreneur. And it has really been a blessing to my life, honestly.
Yes, absolutely. And I feel like towards the end of my career, I felt like that creative space was kind of being stifled a little bit. So when I finally transitioned, I had to kind of go through all this, like, what's next? Because, like, I tell people, like, my exit wasn't as pretty as people could imagine. I did have a toxic end to my career. So when I finally got back into the space, it's just like literally fresh ideas started to follow me, almost like a childlike state. I really
childlike, for sure, for sure.
It is, because we kind of talked about it at the beginning of the episode about kind of how we were taught, and our parents, they did the best they had with what they knew. So teaching from a perspective of like, these are kind of like the hot topic careers, so you better kind of go to that one. That's what they knew,
yes,
right, with the degree. So it's no blaming there, but right, kind of coming to a place to where, like you talked about, this fresh space of just knowing you. Like, right, if I would have still been in my career, I would have never gotten to the sense of self. So
really, people, the sense of self, for sure.
It is. Mm. So, when people are like around me, like, oh, this stuff is like coming out natural. I'm like, I had a whole rebirth. Like, I would never not say that, Ella. And I'm very proud of it. I don't hide behind it. I said, no, it's a rebirth. It's where I am. Absolutely. And I'm very proud and blessed to have reached this place, because some people never do. What I'm saying?
Some people never do, honestly. And I have seen it. Like, some people, they go through their whole life and they just scared to take risks. They, and they just following the plan that somebody has over their life. And, it's okay, but if you feel like deep down in your heart, like God is telling you, like this what you need to be doing, like you just gotta do it. Like you gotta step out on faith and really like, put all in with it. But it is a scary time, but um you'll feel that inkling it like I can't like when it was time for me to go from my job, I was like something in me, I just could not. I literally could not. I was like, and I'm, pretty much a go with the flow type girl, but I was like, no, it's time. And it's really honestly unbelievable still. I still can't believe this is my reality. I'm waking up every day an entrepreneur. Like sometimes I'm like, is this for real?
Yeah, it's definitely for me because I left in 2021, but I didn't start walking this until 2022. 2021, girl, I was trying to heal. I was like, what's next? What's going on? This COVID. It's so many different things.
Yeah,
But I
COVID
really
was
didn't
nuts.
start fully walking it until 2022. So like now it's at the end of 2024. As to kind of look back at all things, it's like, is this really my life? Because if you would have asked me before the pandemic, would this be what I would have told you? No, who are you talking about? That's not Sinead. That's not her life. So to be in it and kind of look back, and then I have to do the thing that I tell my clients and things to do is like I have to start being like taking some steps because I'll just shoot, girl. I'll just be shooting, and then like 3 months pass by and I look back. I'm like, dang, that was a pretty solid. That was a pretty
That
solid.
was a good run.
That was a good run. So making sure I take those moments. I want to talk about this in the entrepreneurship world, Ella, because there's this like kind of fine line, and I know you're learning this about working in the business and then working on the business. I like to think that Ella and I met with a working on the business type thing because we both were recipients of a Wells Fargo grant through the Houston Equity Fund. So when you're doing things like applying for grants and things of that sort, that's a on the business. That's a visionary type thing. That's a bringing in funding. Talk about that walk because Ella, on some days when things just not, I have to be nimble and I have to go on both sides. So talk about that walk between working in and working on.
Absolutely. So I would say this year, 2024, has been transformative for Essentials, and really getting to the point where I'm starting to work more on the business. I've been in business for 5 years, and you kind of get to a place where you like, okay, the operations, the day-to-day operations are on autopilot. And so now it's time to scale and, step into some new arenas. And really, by the grace of God, I've been blessed with so many opportunities to meet new people, such as, Shanaja that I'm meeting with today. And also, a lot of people through the Houston Equity Fund, also with Comcast, and just new opportunities that I'm having to meet people and grow my business. But I definitely think that working on the business is the ultimate goal because, when you're a first time entrepreneur, when you're growing it, when you're building it, when you working in it, it's you in the day-to-day grind, and that's great, get the bills paid, but eventually, you don't want to experience burnout to the point where you don't want to do it anymore. It feel like a job. And the ultimate goal of business, I would say, is to get yourself into a place of financial freedom and also time freedom so that you're not having to do the same thing that you would do working, which is like trading your time for money. Like, you want to get your business in a place where you can exit the business, you can do all of the back end stuff, you can work on growing it, working on the vision, working on, hiring and all of that stuff. And then the operations are still rolling, you still making money. But it does take time and it does take exposure to resources. And that's what I have learned this year. In 2024, at the beginning in January, I had put on my vision board to like give me networking opportunities to grow and expand. And I never even thought like the grant was going to like connect me with all of that. And it's literally been the opportunities to expand and opportunities to network and meet, like-minded individuals, people who are actually doing the same thing. Like, we all out here trying to grow our visions and make these businesses become big businesses. And it's just really amazing to see. I really feel blessed to see and be connected with all of these, individuals that are really doing it. Like, it's like, this is what I do for real every day, and it's like, this what I do for real every day too. And it's like a good feeling to connect with people that are, doing the things.
Yeah, it definitely is. And, and I say this all the time, like, we of course, these friends give us a lot of, influx of time of needed cash and, resources, but it's really that network that comes behind it. And I stand on that because it's so important because, especially like when you're only one of your family or the only one of your friend group that walks the walk, it's sometimes hard to have conversations. I mean, they don't mean any forms.
They don't relate sometimes.
But it doesn't. And you talk about 2024, and I tell people, if I could just write down years of my life, 2013, I had a tragic death in my family that was a life changer. 2020, with the pandemic, and then me having this redefinition of my career and really starting to move out was another transformative year. Right behind it is 2024. So when I go back and I write down specific years where I'm like, okay, no, these were actually portals and life-changing years for my life. This one, number one, stands to be a testament for so many different reasons. So, for so many different reasons. And I'm just so really honored to even be here November 2024, still trying to do this thing in passion despite all the obstacles, right? Despite all the
different you're doing it so well. You're so good at what you do.
Thank you, Ella. You too. And I told her, I said, now, Ella, now when I don't like to call my hair, like I'm giving one of those for real time.
I'll definitely hook you up. You can come to my shop anytime.
Now she already told me, Sinead, I don't do the hair. Okay, I just make the hair. So you got to work that out on your end. But she does do that. I want to ask you this, Ella, because we've talked about a lot of different things in this episode. That's why I love these so much. Let's talk about this personal side of kind of personal growth, because one of the things in 2024, like outside of the business, it's kind of been like shoring Sinead up for the ride. Inside the household, saying these are the kind of things that I need, other different things with caregiving responsibilities. There's been a lot of mix of things in 2024. Talk about the happy place for Ella and what is Ella doing and committed to do to make sure that she stays energized and pure for this ride.
Absolutely. So some of the things that I've been working on is like prioritizing my health and my fitness. So at the beginning of the year, I would say mid-year, I had, went to the doctor, and my doctor, she just checked my blood and stuff, and, just said some things that I can improve, like my vitamin D was low, my cholesterol was a little high. And, so just working on, improving my overall well-being and, just becoming aware, first of all, going to the doctor, getting your checkups, becoming aware. And so some of the things that I've been incorporating to do is walking. I do try to walk like at least 3 to 4 times out the week, walk around my neighborhood, and also do like self-care activities. So my main 2 self-care days is on Monday and Sunday. Sundays are kind of like my day where I do absolutely nothing. Me and my husband, we may go out to breakfast or do something like that, go to church. And then we will just, hang out, clean up the house, prepare, just prepare for the week. And then Mondays, I like to prioritize that day for business related, like administrative tasks where it doesn't involve people. So it's kind of just like me and my notes and my computer and my iPad and my just gathering all of everything that I need to do to get a hold of the week. Because, once the week really gets settled in, I'm normally at my shop from Tuesday through Saturday. It kind of gets busy and fast, and you get disorganized when you don't know and have a clear vision of what's going on. So I try to prioritize using like my weekend off days to just get myself organized and also rest, because that's another thing I do on Sunday is rest. Because I noticed, like, as a new entrepreneur, like when I was in my first couple of years, I would not rest. I would work 7 days a week. I would always be doing everything. I would answer to every yes. I never tell people no. I don't tell them to wait. I'm just like burnt out. And then I realized, like, wait a minute, this is your business. You have to set boundaries, and you have to like make it make sense, because at the end of the day, you're a human, you're not a machine. So you have to just do what you can and, just make it make sense. And, also communicate with your clients and your community so that, everything is clear. But so, yeah, those are some of the things that I've been working on, establishing, like just having a good steady routine of self-care, and also like working on another thing I also do is journal too. That's something I actually love. And I just kind of write out like, either to-do list or like my next goals, what I want, or the person that I see myself becoming. And I just kind of do that. And I feel like that really helps with my personal development because I can really clearly see where I'm at and then where I'm headed. And then trying to create like actionable steps for me to get there because, it'd be a lot. Life be having a lot going on. So you have to have something to look forward to because it literally be having so much going on. Like, you can get lost in the sauce, you get sad, you get overwhelmed, so you just kind of have to, find the joy, find your daily joy and do things that lead you to that place.
And like Ella said, life be having a lot going on. I mean, it does have a lot. And it's so funny because like, this is one of these episodes where like most of the time, like when I'm backstage, when y'all be on here, I'll be on here having a hallelujah fit, cheering y'all on. But this one, it's just been so refreshing because there's like so many similarities and like to know that people live the same life with you. Because look, baby, it's not a day that don't pass.
Gotta have that notebook.
It's not a day
you have to. It's important. Yes, that's so good. We so similar.
Yeah, we have a lot of similarities, and like these why these conversations are so important because you'll think you out here living this world alone and doing these different things. Life is happening to all of us, and we're all looking for tools and strategies to stay afloat on this thing.
No,
but then,
for real.
Ella, when I tell you, I don't do a day without it. I don't care if it's just a gratitude note to myself. I don't care what it is, but I put that down, Ella, in my daily journal. It does not leave my side.
Because I feel like my brain, it be having too much. So let me just go and transfer that onto this notepad so I can think.
Yes, absolutely. And let me tell you, see, look, I told Ella this 30 minutes was going to fly because how we do this around here, we just have conversations. I tell y'all it's a podcast, but it's really just.
It has been such a pleasure. I'm so happy to have done this.
A conversation. And that's really what I try to ignite in the world. Just be yourself. Just talk about it. We all on this planet for real, trying to make it.
For real. Trying to make it.
This is the part where we cue over to you for final thoughts. I tell my guests that people skim in this world. If they were to just catch this one part of this podcast, I want you to give us some final parting words and something that captures the essence of Ella.
Okay, so I would say I really like my mission and my motto in life is to encourage everybody to be the best version of themselves, whatever that looks like. All of my life careers, I have did that in some capacity, and even as an entrepreneur, I just encourage people to be the best versions of themselves. And literally, you just got to do it. You got to take those risks. You can't be afraid. Practice gratitude. Pray, ask God to give you guidance and peace along your journey because sometimes it will get tough, but you definitely can do it. And also share your story, y'all. I am so blessed that I've been given this opportunity to talk to y'all today because you literally never know who you can help or who can help you just by sharing your story. And so I feel so grateful. Thank you so much, Shanaja, for having me on the podcast today. This was literally on my vision board, like to be on the podcast and look at us today on this podcast. So I'm so grateful for you and this opportunity to share with other entrepreneurs and other, people who have attended HBCUs or looking to attend HBCUs. It's definitely a great experience, and it has created me to be the person that I am today, for sure.
Ella, I absolutely love it. I tell people, tell that story and keep them feet moving because they always say that, all things work together for the good of those. You understand that?
Amen.
For the good of those. So it's no coincidence that you said that you're going to be on a podcast and wanted to be on one. Here you're on one today. I tell you, that's not a coincidental thing. That is fruits of your labor coming into fruition. So I want you to know that. And there's one other thing that we did not do, Ella. We did not tell the people how we can contact you. Where can we get the wigs? We did not get any contact information. So anything you have in terms of location, website, socials, whatever you have, go ahead and tell them that now.
Okay, yes. So you can definitely find me on any social media. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook. My social media handles is at iSentralsPro. It's ISSENTIALSPRO. And my website is www.icentralspro.com. You can find me on my website. If you need to email me, you can email me at info@icentralspro.com. essentialspro.com. And if you need any custom wigs, I am a custom wig maker. I can make your wigs however you desire them. And also, if you're looking to learn how to make wigs, I also do teach wig making classes in person and virtually. So if you're interested in becoming your own boss, becoming a wig boss, a wig entrepreneur, then I will definitely be here to help you along your journey. But thank y'all so much for tuning in, and thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed this. This was an amazing experience.
I absolutely love it. And also, too, I'll get with you and let me know when you're having another class so that we can put that in our newsletter that we send out every month so that people can have that. So, yeah, make sure you give me that information. But I want to tell everybody out here in the HBCU Her Voice podcast land, what a pleasure. I told you I don't skimp on my guests. My guests always come here and bring it. Miraculous things happen when you let your voice shine and that you use your voice. That is a testament of that today. Ella has done just that. I will never leave without telling you that I love you. And I will be back with another amazing episode in really no time on the HBCU Her Voice podcast. Until then, we're out.
Thank you.